my favorite view of the park right here, I think.
Right behind me is Untitled Falls, the largest falls in Ricketts Glen State Park, and you're watching EA Native.
PA Native's back. We got the Breakfast of Champions. We're heading out to Ricketts Glen. We got the pupper as well. Look at the baby. We got the baby. I'm here, of course. And we're about to eat our sheets for breakfast. And next stop, we're going to Ricketts Glen State Park. Lived in, Lancaster County recently. It's getting a little old just seeing all the flat fields, all the farm fields. So we're finally out. We're getting close enough to Ricketts Glen now that the scenery is starting to change. We're seeing more woods, we're seeing more hills, which is very refreshing when you live in a place that doesn't have a lot of trees and hills and woods. It's just good to get that change, but we're still, driving wise, we're still over an hour, about an hour and a half away almost. But it takes almost that long, an hour of driving away from Lancaster out into different directions to get that feel of being back in the woods like Pennsylvania should feel like. We are on a very bumpy dirt road in a very small car. Ooh. God. So I've never been here before. Kim's been here. She camped. Oh my God. She had camped at the campground that we had just passed. That's how we knew we were getting close to the park. But these roads are rough out here. I can't take the camera any higher because the roof is basically on top of my head here, so it's hard to see if I can try to get you any sort of view of the road. Maybe take a four-wheel drive, maybe take an SUV, try to avoid some potholes. This will be probably the biggest hike that Sadie's ever done in her life. We're in Ricketts Glen State Park. Here's Lake Rose. We're actually going to start the Falls Trail near Lake Rose here in one of these parking lots. You can see a sign there, Falls Trail. We got a couple hikers here. Getting into the deep woods of Ricketts Glen now. The day started out a little rainy, weather wasn't looking great. They were calling for scattered showers up in this area, but it's clearing up real nice right now. 2 hours and 45 minutes on the road for us from Lancaster City. Sadie only vomited once, not too bad. We didn't vomit at all, so that's a huge plus. And so we're finally here. We're going to shut the car off. We're waiting for Anna from Season 1 Centralia to get here and join us. We're also waiting for Brandon, our nature photography specialist. And it's going to be really exciting. We're going to learn kind of what it takes to capture nature's beauty up here at Ricketts Glen the best way possible. We're going to learn that from Brandon. And then we're also going to have Kim try to get the perfect Instagram photo.
Oh yeah.
We're actually going to try to get a picture together today. Mm-hmm. Like a real couple, like official couple picture. So we're looking for three things. The perfect nature photo, the perfect Instagram photo, and now the perfect couple photo.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so just a few quick observations since we've gotten here. Somebody definitely smoked weed in the bathroom maybe less than 15 minutes ago. So there's that. This is the Lake Rose parking lot. It has a trailhead for the Falls Trail, but there's a number of trails that actually start here. So, you know, depending on, and there's varying difficulties, so depending on what you're actually up to, this is a good place to start. But I will tell you that even on a fairly overcast day like today, the parking lot's pretty full. So there's a couple spots. There's mostly people still arriving. I don't see a lot of people leaving. So if you're not here, it's a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which this is going to be about a 5-hour hike at least. So you're not going to want to start much later in the day, and you're not going to want to have to come here and park much later in the day either. So just a few things to keep in mind. We knew it as soon as we got here, parked and got out of the car. They were on us. The gnats and the flies are on us. So they're already in my hair. I can feel them in my hair. So maybe bring some bug spray. I did not bring bug spray, so I'm hoping maybe Anna or Brandon will help us out there. But if not, it's going to be a buggy day. Oh, we got some reunited pups here.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's not playtime, guys. You're going to be tired enough just hiking today.
Hi, Anna. I'm Kim. Nice to meet you. How are you feeling?
Good. Is there a lot of camera gear in there?
Yeah. I mean, so with you'll hopefully see my camera at some point today, and with the large format system, it helps to just kind of leave stuff in the bottom of my pack so that it has something to sit on, so that the weight's not just like all down here. Plus, I just kind of like to just constantly, I'm like always in ready for backpacking. You know what I mean? Exactly. In terms of like used to carrying the weight, and plus I'm possibly doing a pretty ass kicker of a trail here with my brother in a couple weeks. So I figure the more used to it I get before then, the better.
It's been about 3 years since I blew my knee out, so I have loaded up on a little bit of ibuprofen and pain medicine and whatnot. Kim's the official dog walker. So Kim was just telling me that the first time she was here, she didn't start here. So just so you know, there's other trailheads for the Falls Trail. You don't have to start at Lake Rose. The reason we chose to go this way is that we are starting in what should be a higher elevation nearer to the top of the Glen. We're going to work our way down and then come back up, basically. That's going to kind of be the order of the elevation for us. Partially because of we think it's going to be a little bit easier that way. I've avoided knee surgery for all this time, so this is going to be helpful to do the down part first, because that's the tougher part for me, and actually come back up in elevation when I'm actually more sore and already feeling the pain. It'll be easier to come up. Kim already stepped in dog shit.
We're off to a great start. Wonder if that's the same guy that told you to slow down.
On the way in today? Or some other day?
We're going 25. It's 15, but it's not like I was trying to listen.
Going too fast.
The lesser scenic part out of the way first, and then the rest of it's just all waterfall action.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're starting with what's called the Highland Trail, so we're expecting kind of a flat elevation here for a little bit.
Yeah.
What can we expect when we get to some of the rockier, more up and down elevated territory?
So essentially the Glen is broken into the two. So you have the Glen Lee side, which is what we're going to go down, and then you have the Ganoga Glen side, which is what will come up and back to the parking lot here. And essentially, it's just after this, relatively level highland crevasse section, it's essentially just a pretty steep ascent down through the Glen and then back up the other side of the Glen. And that's obviously where the waterfalls are. Okay, it's Kitchen Creek is just kind of, it breaks up and cascades down both sides to where what is called waters meet.
We'll go on like a 40-minute walk, and there will be at least 3
Group number 2.
Yeah, there's usually 3 to 5 poops in like a 45-minute walk. And they get progressively smaller and messier.
Yes.
So you can see we're mostly on like a dirt trail right now, all flat, just scenic kind of highlands.
Last year like when we first started writing, I think it was like the 3rd weekend in May that I was here, and I was telling you about like how booming the water was with all the rain and whatnot.
Yeah.
So this is actually like 2 weeks earlier than that would have been, and it's kind of neat because I think we'll see like up here, the deciduous trees are still bare, but I think as we go down through the glen, we'll see more and more like budding and blooming and green. But like last year when I was here, I mean, it was even green all the way up top here. It was really lush.
Yeah, so a couple more weeks and
Yeah.
it makes a big difference as to, you know, the leaves and the flowers up here in the higher elevations. So we're hoping that Brandon's keen eye will spot a great place to take some photos, to do a little photo shoot at some point. Not only just to capture nature's beauty, but Kim needs an Instagram photo. Anna and Brandon's first date was at Ricketts Glen. And here they are. How many times would you say you've been back?
Together? 3, I think, yeah. I think this will be our 3rd. This
That's where the magic happens.
the MIDWAY crevasse.
And why is that?
I mean, obviously it's because of the rock crevasse, but I don't know. There's also like there's something landscape like in terms of like formation wise with the land that is significant about it. It's probably actually on the map in the information.
Don't sneeze the wrong direction. And here's a really good example of what we were talking about, the higher elevations on the Highland Trail here, that all of these beech trees are still bare. In just a couple weeks, you know, if we had a time-elapsing camera, there's a good chance we would actually catch them in the next week or 2. We're starting to go down in elevation a little bit. We just finished up this way, the Highland Trail. It's about a mile, between a mile and a mile and a half. So we're gonna head down now, the Glen Lee side. You can see 2.8 miles is the section we're about to do. And we're actually gonna start seeing some of the falls as we go down this way. We now have the Kitchen Creek running next to us, as opposed to the Highlands Trail, which you're really kind of just taking in the woodland scenery. But this is gonna turn into some crazy waterfalls very shortly here. And we're making our way down the Glen Lee Trail here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here in Ricketts Glen. The first named waterfall. Most of them are named by the Ricketts themselves. You can see this is a little treacherous here. Is she alright? Here, do you wanna?
Yeah.
Here, you take this.
She's just scared. You got it?
Here, that's the one. Just leave it on at the front. So Sadie's a little scared. Probably she'd be okay with me.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. I'll try to double up as much as I can here. This one. So here, right in front of us is an example of an old growth hemlock. That is a big sucker. So we are beginning to descend down into the second waterfall on our journey here. Past the giant hemlock, Here we are, these big kind of rock step platforms. They're wet, they're slippery. It's not recommended to wear anything besides real good hiking shoes up here. Something with thick soles and a lot of grip. Just almost part of the creek that basically has become part of the trail, leading right down to what would be number 3. Sadie and that dog were eyeing each other up when we first got there.
This is my favorite view of the park right here, I think. This one's called Ozone. It stuck my head out.
We're getting close to the bottom of the falls, and you can see there's a lot of foot traffic in this area. People taking their selfies, taking their nature photos, trying to get everything they need. It's a beautiful fall. You can see a lot of these falls have bridges that you can stand almost directly in front of the fall and get the picture that you want. Some of them you can get a little closer to the falls as well. We're after another Instagram photo. Woo!
Okay, so we are at what they call Waters Meet, where both sides of the Glen, Glenlee and CONESTOGA Glen, come down obviously and meet in the middle and continue flowing downward. And so also on the rock over here is a little plaque that designates that Ricketts Glen is a National Natural Landmark, designated in 1968 or 69. We're in debate about that.
The plaque says 60.
Yeah, but we've also read 69 online, so around that time. And it just signifies the natural beauty of the Glen and of the old growth forest here. I think one of the things I've always found interesting about Ricketts Glen is in Pennsylvania. I think it is the closest that Pennsylvania has ever come to having a national park. In the early 1900s, it was intended to be a national park actually, but then due to financial reasons, it was decided to be kept.
I think it was around the late 1930s, like wartime.
Okay.
So
oh yeah, during.
I believe that is why financially the government could not.
Yeah, probably Great Depression and CCC times. Yeah. But then the state bought it and turned it into the state park. And although I think it would be awesome to have a national park here in Pennsylvania, I also kind of think maybe it's better for the land that we just have it. It's popular enough as it is as possibly Pennsylvania's most popular state park, whereas if it drew national attention as a national park, I think it might, I don't think it's a big enough area to be given that designation, and I think it would get too many visitors to be good for the area. So that's my 2 cents on the. Although I'm a huge supporter of the national parks, I just think I don't know if this would. I think it would be a lot of wreckage to the land if we drew in that many visitors.
So we of course started up here and have made our way down the Highland Trail. We've gone down the Glen Lee side to where we are now, the waters meet. Our last stretch of the Falls Trail is going to be head up the Canoga Glen side, which you can see that we have the Erie is right behind us, and we have a number of waterfalls we're going to see on the way back up. So stick with us. Just past the first waterfall on our ascent back to the top of Ricketts Glen. We got a lot more to come, including some of the biggest ones. So right here, we're actually about to stand kind of in the middle of two waterfalls. Starting to hit me.
After we climb the steps here, I mean there's still some uphill, but this is like the last.
Yeah, once you get up,
like real big obstacle. We're essentially at the halfway point of up this side.
Right behind me is Canoga Falls, the largest falls in Ricketts Glen State Park, and you're watching EA Native. So as of right now, we can feel the mist, we can feel the breeze. After hiking about halfway back up, it feels amazing right now to have this fresh waterfall mist just hit me right in the face. So this is the spot that perhaps Brandon may try to look to get a photo today. You can see he's gonna scout it out a little bit and see if he can get the right angle. You can tell it's still quite overcast above us. It's not raining, it hasn't rained all day. It's a nice fresh mist off the waterfall. How's it feel, Kim?
Feels so great. Colonel Ricketts named a lot of the falls after Northern American Indian tribes, and then some of them are named after his friends and family, like Reynolds Falls.
So we are really probably about 3/4 of the way back up. Really starting to feel it in the legs. Starting to breathe heavy. My gosh. Be prepared during the ascent for a tough one. Just as hard as the way down is on your knees. They owned the property for like years before they found these.
Yeah, I read that on that thing that you posted,
that
like
nuts?
sharing on Messenger.
Yeah, there was like fishermen.
Yeah,
walking
people
through the
decided to
woods
like, yeah, the more people started to go out fish, that's how they found it.
Yep. The falls?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's probably the one I've seen the most, like professional portraiture being taken, like probably like engagement.
Oh, really?
Or things like that. Yeah. I feel like it's because it's an easy. From the parking lot, it's probably one of the more scenic, not too much of a hike to get to. You know what I mean?
It's an easy in and out. You don't want to sweat too much for your
Yeah,
engagement photos.
You're really only coming down like one little stair set to get that.
As the day has gone by, the later in the day, we're coming across less and less people. So I think it's pretty safe to say that the midday, early afternoon is going to be about the busiest time in the park. Of course, if you're going to do the whole Falls Trail, you're going to need a few hours. See here, this is one of the probably nicer parts of the trail that we've been on. Nice and flat. It seems like we've done the bulk of the ascent. I think we got sort of one more rock staircase left to go. We'll be just about at the top of the glen again. So we're definitely closing in. We believe there's one more fall?
Yes.
There's
at least named.
So I think we have one more probably named fall, and we've made it through the rest along this trail so far. Here we go. I think this is maybe the last big ascent of the hike. Well, guys, I think that was the last of the climb back up. I think we officially did the trail. We did
yeah, we're like 0.3 miles.
And you shouldn't be intimidated.
Yeah.
It seems really hard, but it's totally worth it to see all of Pennsylvania's glorious state park beauty. And if these little dogs with their little short legs can do it, so can you. I believe the park's open from dawn till dusk, so you have all day to do it.
Yeah, plenty of places to rest along the way and take it in.
Yeah.
Good lunch spot down at the bottom.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't mention is that this is a designated bird and mammal area, so your chances of seeing all the wildlife that Pennsylvania has is pretty good out here. Now, there are a lot of people, which is going to tend to keep the wildlife a little farther away, but
I've never seen any wildlife, like major wildlife on the Falls Trail itself, but I have on another trail in the park called the Mountain Springs Trail, which takes you to Mountain Springs Lake. I had a really cool black bear encounter out there a couple of years back. Two pretty sizable, probably a mother and a juvenile. Ran into them twice, actually, in like less than a half-mile stretch. So
I love a good black bear encounter. It was something that Kim was a little scared of coming into today. But black bears, you gotta remember that they are pretty docile creatures in Pennsylvania.
There was an attack. That woman got attacked.
And I'm not saying that you can't be attacked. It's not what I'm saying, but it is somewhat rare, and they are intimidated by humans. They're at the top of the food chain in Pennsylvania, which means they don't have to attack humans on a regular basis.
Well, they're primarily vegetarian. I mean, they primarily eat berries and nuts. I mean, they really don't, and like the foliage, they really don't eat a whole lot of meat.
After the large ascent to the top of the glen, there's a nice peaceful, very shaded, kind of flat cool down area on the way back to the parking lot.
Like, I think a lot of people would just think of the waterfalls when they think of Ricketts Glen, but there are lots of other miles of trails throughout the park that are just deep forest and mountain trails. I mean, there's a lot of other just natural beauty besides the waterfalls to experience in the park.
If waterfalls are your thing, obviously do the Falls Trail, enjoy it. You know, if you're nearby or if you really love it up here, get up here and see what else is out there. Don't just come and do the Falls Trail and say, oh, I just need to get a new photo for Instagram or Facebook. Like, go enjoy the rest that the park has to offer, because it's huge. There's a campground here, there's a lake here, there's a beach on that lake where you can swim. There's lots and lots to do here.
Do be aware that the Falls Trail closes during the winter. It actually just reopened on April 12th because it ices over. Not closed to everybody, but closed unless you have proper ice climbing gear. So Ricketts Glen does a great job keeping their Facebook page updated on when it closes each year and when it reopens.
Like, the top of the mountain usually peaks last week of September, first week of October. But then as you work your way down through the Glen, you kind of go into like the second week of October. But don't come here during Halloween week and expect to see too much in the way of foliage.
You know, we traveled with at least one small first aid kit today, if not more than one. I recommend bringing something like that. Of course, we're here in early May. If you come here later in the summer, you're going to want a lot more water than we did. And obviously, we're back out where we started. Like I said, we did one kind of big loop, saw as many of the waterfalls as we could.
I think we, on that main loop, I think. Well, that's if you go down the whole.
It's 21 on the loop.
Okay.
No.
I think it's 18 on the loop.
18 on the loop, 21, but
then there's a 3 or 4 somewhere else.
There's a 22nd.
Sorry, 18.
There's 22 or 24 named.
There's a 22nd one right at the beginning of the Evergreen Trail.
Oh, okay.
On the other side of 118.
I thought it was 21 and then 3.
That's the one I took a photograph of, frozen the one. Yeah.
So you can see we're here early evening, and this parking lot, which was full basically when we got here, it's opened up now. There's a lot of space. You wouldn't want to start the Falls Trail, but of course there are smaller trails if you want to come here in the evening. and do one of the shorter hikes, you're gonna have time, and you're not gonna run into as many people either. So, you know, you have 3 out of the 4 of us have been here before, and there's still a lot of kind of uncharted territory between everyone here. So,
I haven't seen everything yet.
I have yet to actually walk down to the end of the Falls Trail itself and do the whole
Parking the other way.
Yeah.
Because I usually come late in the afternoon to avoid the crowds and better light in the evening. And I never have time to, if I decide to take a photograph, I never have time to do the whole, the whole thing.
Yeah. Feel very accomplished. I mean,
Yeah.
Should we take one last selfie? Did it say when we started?
It was around 1:30.
1:30.
So we spent
about 4 hours.
Yeah, just shy of 4 hours basically.
I mean, we took breaks
Okay.
and stuff, but
So you're looking at, you know, at a leisurely pace, and you know, we're filming, we're stopping to take pictures, we're taking it easy. You're looking at about an hour a mile. So that's something just to think about as you're coming here. Like we did the Falls Loop. Like I said, it can go up to 7 miles or so. The main loop that we just did, Brandon just timed at a little over 4 miles.
I think you should plan at least to really take it in and enjoy yourself. Don't give yourself less than 3 hours to
Absolutely.
to do it, I would think.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are going to get it through it faster than we did, based on, you know, our goals
and we had
for
the
the day.
pups and
We have 2 dogs. You know, we have cameras. We're, you know, Brandon is, you know, now he didn't actually stop to take his photos today, but what he did do is kind of scout and look at some different angles and spots that in the future may be something he can return to and get something really great out of. I've
taken a handful of photographs here over the years. Several of the waterfalls, a few of just like fall foliage up here on top of the mountain. I actually have yet to nail a photograph I really like of the big guy, CONESTOGA, and I was hoping to maybe get that today, but just wasn't, I didn't have what I like to call an awe moment where just, you know, I feel really inspired, and with the lighting and the scenery and everything comes together. I shoot film. I carry a large format 4x5 view camera, so it's not something I just whip out like an iPhone and snap a picture of. It's quite a process. I usually like to have about roughly 20 to 30 minutes to really set up and compose and make sure I get a good photograph out of, you know, exposing a sheet or 2 or 3 of film. So. Like I said, I would have liked for a little more greenery around the CONESTOGA Fall and maybe a little better lighting. It just wasn't there today, but hey, it doesn't matter. It's still an awesome experience, and you know, we'll come back and get her next time.
You're gonna see the professional photographers really crowd this place in the next few weeks, like we said, when things start blooming and budding. And you know, especially if we get some rainfall and the falls are raging a little bit more. Well, it's been a long, successful day, and just as we finished the hike, the rain started. So you can say the timing could not have been any better. But we are getting ready to head out. Wave goodbye to Ricketts Glen for the day, and I'm excited to come back, maybe explore some of the other trails. There are some named waterfalls, only about 2 or 3 that we did not see today. We saw, by and large, the vast majority of the waterfalls there are to see. We're gonna go enjoy the rest of the day with probably some brews, some food, and kind of just relax and rest these weary bones. We'll see you later. We set out on an adventure to Ricketts Glen State Park that day with an agenda, and even though the weather wasn't perfect, we got what we came for, saw some breathtaking views, and had a lot of fun along the way. The waterfalls are loud, powerful, and magnificent. Even the dogs had a good time. Cross another one off the list for PA Native. Until next time,